Hi again, guys. This time we'll be looking at Aiyima A07 Max speaker amplifier that I got recently of Ali, as usual. One of you guys have asked me in the comments underneath my review for Aiyima A07 Pro to review A07 Max. I wasn't very interested at that time because it's lacking tone controls. And I find it that on cheap Chinese amplifiers using TDA 3155 tone controls are a very good thing because they can be used to correct some imperfections of the amplifier. But I've seen and I've read in a couple of places that this small fry is getting very good reviews. And what's got my attention is that the fact that this can be used as a mono power amplifier, not on a regular stereo amplifier, but you can buy two of them. You can set them to mono mode and use them as mono blocks to power your speakers. So I got one, as you can see, and let's start with the build quality. It's using all metal build. It's solid. You cannot see this right now. You'll see that later when I open the device. But the front panel is made of solid aluminum. And it's about 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters thick. So it's a good device, good case. Sorry. On the bottom we have some holes used for venting the amplifier chip. And we have a mono stereo switch here, and you may see in one of other reviews on YouTube that one of the reviewers said that the producer forgot to put a thermal paste under the radiator under amplifier chip, but that's not true. The amplifier radiator is screwed to the case with these two screws. Which makes sure that there is a good contact between two blocks of metal. And yes, thermal paste would be good, but there is one slight disadvantage. The thing is that in order to open the device, you have to slide out the insides out this way, and it would smell the thermal paste all over the case and all over these holes. So, thank you, but no. The outputs and the inputs. We have speaker outputs. Speaker outputs are the usual HiFi size, so I wouldn't recommend to use spades here. I would recommend regular 4mm BFA bananas or just bare wire if you can fit the bare wire inside this hole. I think you can see the hole size. It's about, I'd say, 3 to 4 millimeters wide. Yeah. We need 24 up to 48 volts power brick to power the device. The more voltage, the more amps you can give the device, the higher the output power of the device will be. I was able to use the device with 24 volts linear power supply from Breeze, very similar to the one that I reviewed in another video. Looks like that, but this one works for 24 volts. It also has only 25 watts of output power, so with that kind of power supply you shouldn't expect very high output power for the speaker amplifier itself, but for your regular listening levels it will be more than enough. I've tested that and I can assure you that 25, but clear 25 and real 25 watts of power for this small fry will be good enough. Unless you're trying to make a disco in your home on your both floors of your home. So let's get to the input. The input signal is provided via two RCA jacks, the regular way, and you can use this 3.5mm output port to power your subwoofer or to pass the signal to headphone amplifier or wherever else you'd like to have it go. So now let's pause the video and let's open the unit. In order to open the unit, you need to take out the volume pot, just slide it out. You need to unscrew this small screw inside here, and then you'll need to remove these two screws. So see you in a minute. So I'm moving the last screw right now. We need to remember to remove the screws that are connecting the heatsink to the case. And now, as you can see, 4 silver screws from the back, 2 black screws from the bottom, the pot, and the nut from underneath the pot. Now you can remove the board and you can remove the front panel. As I said, the front panel is quite thick. It's very well made. Yeah, here we have a washer for the nut. The case itself, it's quite thick. It's made of one piece of metal. And you can see the holes right now. So, what do we have here? Underneath, we have a quite large radiator that it's getting screwed to the case. And it transforms the heat to the casing. Inside, we have some nice Nichicon capacitors. The previous versions, the older versions of this amplifier were supposed to have capacitors rated for 20 volts, so not 20 but 50 volts, which was problematic thing because the capacitors were rated for 50 volts max, and the power supply that this unit was accepting was up to 48 volts max, so it was only 2 volts difference between the max rated voltage for these capacitors. But in the recent units, as you can see in mine, Aiyima has changed the capacitors to 63 volts, and that gives a nice distance from the max rated DC power input. Okay, so what's important and what's interesting here? The first thing is that you may replace operational amplifiers, opamps, with the ones of your choice. The factory provided ones are NA5332 operational amplifiers from Texas Instruments, which are basically a standard in all cheap and mid-level amplifiers. But it's very good to replace them with something that sounds better, that's a little bit faster and a little bit cleaner. My current favorite one is Brown OPA 627, and I got them in this casings, because OPA 627 basically is one channel amplifier, so we need to have 2 of them to work correctly in that kind of device. But I'll be recording another video on amplifiers, on operational amplifiers alone, because I have a quite large collection. Not every operational amplifier works the same way in every device, so it's a good thing to test them to choose the proper one. Okay, what else do we have here? We have nice Vima capacitors, polypropylene foil capacitors at the output. We have a switching relay. I'm not sure if you can see that, but are these marked? Yes, these marked. These are marked. All the blue ones, all the small blue capacitors here, here, and here are ELNA capacitors, which is also a very good type of capacitor, a very nice, very good brand. These two, I think, are unmarked, and these are also unmarked. Okay, as you can see, we have some remains of hot glue inside the unit because the capacitors were glued to the board in order to dampen the vibrations, to make them work better, to have a better sound. So now I'll put the casing back and I'll tell you a few things about the sound, because that's what's the most important. Okay, so I'm back. The unit is screwed back to the starting point, and now about the sound quality. Well, I was very surprised to find this unit very clean sounding. As you may remember, my current champ was Aiyima A07 Pro. Right now, this one takes the place, even though it doesn't have the tone controls that you can find here. Why? Because the first thing, the bass, treble and mids. The first thing in order to get a good amplifier is to get right these basic things. The bass needs to go deep, it has to be controlled, the treble has to be airy and has to be delicate, it cannot be sibilant. The mids have to be natural sounding. So this is the first stage, and this stage is executed very well in this unit. The second stage is the detail. Yes, once you get the frequency spectrum right, the next stage would be to get good levels of detail. And also this detail level is achieved here. The treble is detailed, the bass is detailed, there is very nice details in human voices in the mids. And the last stage, the stage that it's really hard to achieve, and it's been very hard to achieve in the small Chinese amplifiers, is the holography of the sound. So spatial positioning of the sound, stereophonic imaging of the sound, but not only in the wide, but in the depth and in the height. And to my surprise, this one is very good in this department. The Aiyima A07 Pro has a very good extension, it's very clear sounding, it has loads of details, and it's also giving you a good spatial imaging, but this one is better. I suppose this may be coming from the fact that it's just simpler in build, and it's using slightly better quality parts. The Aiyima A07 Pro is also using some Inchicom capacitors, but it's not using, as far as I remember, film caps, etc. So I can only recommend this one. I think I may be getting another one to run them in mono mode to the system that I'll be setting up for my daughter. She's 11 years old, and it's the time to get her first right audio equipment to listen for her music. So I may be getting two of them to run them as monoblocks, because they are very small, they are not hitting much, and they sound very nicely. So I can give my highest praise and my highest recommendation to this unit, especially when you consider the price. You can get this unit alone for a bit more than $50, something like $55. We'll get you one of these. You'll also need a power brick or power supply of some sorts. You can get any power supply that will be rated between 24 and 48 volts with as large DC amperage as you can get. You may buy one from Aiyima or other Chinese suppliers, but I've noticed that they tend to overprice these power bricks. You'll be better getting one of Meanwell power supplies, because they are better quality and they are a bit cheaper. or you may get, as I did, one of these linear power supplies to power supply these amplifiers. And this will be probably the setup for my daughter. 124 volts linear power supply to Aiyima A07 Max, amplifiers used as a power amplifiers in mono mode, and it should get her going with high quality sound for the next couple of years. I don't want her to learn bad quality audio from some kind of cheap equipment, maybe cheap not in a good sense of this word, because you may get some cheap and good stuff, but cheap in a bad way, in a way that looks expensive but sounds bad. So that's all for now. I've told you about the build quality, the sound quality, we've taken a look inside, and I told you the price of this unit. The one last thing, maybe some additional comment. Okay, so in order to turn the device on, you have to move the pod clockwise. As you can see, you are powering the device, and then you can regulate your volume level. Why is this important thing? Because this basically makes you switch off the device with lowest possible volume setting all the time. You cannot leave it switched off with any other volume setting than the lowest one. Why is this important for me? This is important for me because recently I got HiFi Man TE6 headphones, and I was looking, these are these babies, I was looking for a proper headphone amplifier to drive them properly. And the thing is that it's not a very easy task, because these are 50 ohms headphones, but they have a very low sensitivity. I think it was 83 or 86 decibels, dBs. And the thing is that it's not very easy to find headphone amplifier powerful enough to drive them, and headphone amplifier that it's not only powerful enough to drive them, but has a good sound quality. So I was using this amplifier to power these headphones, and I'd say this is the cheapest way to run these with good quality and good drive. But this will be a subject for another video. So see you next time, guys. Bye.